So my first question, if you had one word to describe New Orleans, how would you do so?
Oh, magical.
Magical. Why did you pick that one?
It is. I mean, it really is. I mean, other places you eat. In New Orleans, you dine. For example, we have our own culture, and it's different from the rest of the United States. So we're unique, and if people love each other more here. You're walking down the street, people you don't know say, "Hey, what's happening? What's up, bro?" Stuff like that. I love that. That's magic. That's God's will.
Are you born and raised here, by the way?
I was born in New Orleans on State and Chapatula Street at the Public Health Service Hospital. My dad was a doctor in the Public Health Service, but he was at Carville, the leper colony. I just tell the girls I was born in a leper colony, and they say that explains a lot, But they wouldn't let me be born there because they didn't know about the disease transmission back then. And so my mother carried me there in utero and then came to New Orleans for me to be born. As soon as I was born, she got to the hospital and went back to Carville, Louisiana. And from there, my dad got transferred it's a government service. And he was transferred to San Francisco and then Galveston, Texas, where I went through the 5th grade. Then I moved back here in New Orleans. I learned how to fight in Galveston. I got to fight in New Orleans. It's magical.
Magical.
It's part of the culture. It was fun, Once I knocked a couple of people down, nobody picked on me,
Gotta show them every once in a
You can't do that now. Can't do that now. That was more like a sport back then, Nowadays, gunshots, kids with guns and stuff, grudges, and that's satanic. The magical part of New Orleans, it's like the people here get along the way God wants us to get along. Another magical aspect of New Orleans, more interracial couples here than anywhere I've ever seen. And guess what I learned? Before the Civil War, I found out that New Orleans had more free black people than anywhere, not in America, not in North America, in the Western Hemisphere. So they had people, you know the story about the Creoles and everybody was, and people mixed because of the French attitude. The British was if you're part, illegitimate kid from a black person, you were no good. You were no count. They didn't care about you. But in France, the culture was, that's still my son. That's still my daughter. And the young men they'd send to Europe for learning a trade. They'd come back here with their freedom and stuff. We had the most free people in the Western Hemisphere before the Civil War. And you see that today. That's a good legacy,
We'll kind of tie that in. We talked about New Orleans just now. You gave us some history from the past. Let's talk about what you love today. Do you have an idea or a mindset about where it could be 100 years from now?
Oh, Lord.
What do you see New Orleans look like in 100 years?
Well, we're going to have so much coastal erosion that the coast, you're not going to be able to recognize it. So we could either have no New Orleans, where everybody has to be displaced inward because we're on the edge of the Gulf of Mexico, or the rest of the United States and the Corps of Engineers in particular will realize that all the sediment that stays between the levees on the East Bank and the West Bank is a precious resource. And instead of funneling it off the continentals out into the Gulf of Mexico and down the continental slope into the bottom to create tube worm habitat in the Gulf of Mexico, if they would just like bulldoze the levees below New Orleans to marsh level and let naturally the river build its sedimentation process, and then what would happen is the river would slow down and it would start filling in the ship channel. No problem. Have dredge barges dredge up and down to maintain the ship channel and deposit that spoil on either side of the levee out in the marsh, and when it builds up to marsh level, put another link on the discharge tube. And within 100 years, we could do what it took 1,000 years of the natural process of building the deltas. Our future is totally linked. And I'm not worried about sea level rise. It rises, it falls down, and what I'm worried about is because the Corps of Engineers thinks like a soldier. It's an Army Corps of Engineers. You want me to stop flooding and maintain the river channel? No problem. We're going to do it like this. But what about the spoil? They didn't tell me anything about the spoil. I don't care about the wetlands. I just want to maintain the ship channel and keep New Orleans from flooding. So we got levees that are destroying us. You know, erosion is a natural process. Sea level rise is a natural process. You know, when the interglacial periods, when the glaciers and everything and the ice ages melted, they had sea level rise. When they formed back up, it dropped again. It's all natural process. What's unnatural is channelizing the river to let all that sediment go down. In 100 years, we could be either like utopia, or we could be gone. I don't know. I hope we're still here.
Yeah, me too.
I won't be.
Okay.
But my body will.
There we go. And
Yeah,
we'll see where
I'll
it's
be
right.
New Orleans born, New Orleans bred. When it's over, I'll be New Orleans dead.
I love it.
You know?
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
You're
Okay,
welcome.